everybody, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Erin, and in today's video we're going to be building a modern barn conversion. So this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house in the brand new world of Chestnut Ridge, which we just got with the brand new horse pack. And this is on the 64 by 64 lot that comes in this world, the one that, doesn't have a lot on it. So that's why I decided to put it here. And yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking. I always get really excited to do a 64 by 64 lot because I'm like, oh, I'll have all this room for like a pond and farmland and everything like that. And then once I start getting into like the nitty gritty of it, I am just like, what was I thinking? Why did I do this? It's just so much space to fill. And this build took me a really long time. I feel like every build just takes me such a long time, but this one in particular, it took me a long while to do, but I really enjoyed the entire process of it. I was trying a lot of like new techniques with this house that I haven't done before. Actually, not so much the house too much, but like the exterior. So I kind of have like multi-buildings, or not multi-buildings, but like various buildings going on. And, I have like a barn and I have like a little, not a shed, good grief, what do you call it? Like a little nursery area. And I don't know, it just was a lot of space to fill, but I absolutely love the way that it came out and I'm super duper happy with it. But this house encompasses everything that you'll need, to play with the new pack. So there's plenty of room for horses, for mini goats, for nectar making, for just everything. And I haven't had too much of a chance to play with, the horses and everything like that. But what I have played with, I absolutely love. Going into this pack, I wasn't super excited. I mean, I actually started off really excited when I initially heard about horses coming to the game. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, I don't know, I watched that, what was it? It was the, it was like the gameplay thing that the Sims team held. It was like the, what do you even call that? It was the live stream that they did. And I don't know, they seemed so like not into it and they didn't seem very excited. So as a result, I wasn't super excited, but I don't know. Once I started watching the early access stuff that was coming out on the pack, then I started getting really excited because I was able to see some of the builds that people were doing and some of the gameplay that people were doing. And I started getting really inspired and really excited. And initially my first build was going to be like a country bar, but I don't know, when I was looking at the items and the doors and everything like that, I got really inspired to do like a barn house, a converted barn house, I should say. And I know that I want to kind of push myself with the exterior. So as you can see, like right now, I'm starting to get really fancy and I'm starting to use the tool mod, which this is kind of like new territory for me. I've never really used the tool mod quite this much on a build before. I've seen other builders that I love to watch, like Kate Emerald and Jessica Pye and stuff like that, use the tool mod a lot to kind of create these like rocky raised areas. And that's what I want to do on this build, but it definitely was a learning process, but I got there in the end. It looks really good, and it took a very long time, though. Very, very long time. But the exterior of this house, in my own humble opinion, is one of the best exteriors that I've done on a home so far. I just tried to fill it with tons of detail, tons of character, and just try to make it look like really realistic and make it fit into the world. Which, the world, by the way, I actually was expressing like a little bit of negativity. I was getting a little negative, I'm sorry, but I was kind of getting sick of, having so many like American style worlds, but I don't know, upon getting it and seeing it, this world is absolutely beautiful. I believe it's actually based off of Utah from what I've heard. And I actually used to live in Utah. I lived there for quite a few years. I lived in Salt Lake City. And I think Utah definitely goes down as like one of the favorite states that I've ever lived in. I haven't lived in like tons of states though. I've just lived in, Michigan, where I grew up, and then Nevada and Las Vegas, and then Salt Lake City and Utah. But this reminds me a lot of southern Utah, which Utah, this might be controversial opinion, but I think it's like among one of the most beautiful states in the US. It's just, I don't know. It's like you have southern Utah, which is really beautiful and has those kind of like warm red colored rocks, and you have like Mount Zion and like Bryce Canyon and areas like that. And this reminds me of like southern Utah. But then where I lived up in the northern part, it's a little bit more green. It's a little bit more like snow-capped mountains and stuff like that. It's such a beautiful state. If anybody is watching me who lives in Utah, like, let me know in the comments. I loved living there. I made so many amazing friends when I lived in Utah. I have such like fond memories of it. And when I got this pack and I started looking at the world, and I was like, yeah, this reminds me a lot of that state. And it was fun. It was really like nostalgic and fun for me. Although when I lived in Utah, in the part that I lived, Salt Lake City, it's a mid-sized city. So I didn't see many like barn conversions when I was out there. But I don't know, this area also kind of reminded me like a little bit of a place in like northern Utah called Heber City. And Heber had like a lot of like kind of farmland, kind of like that old Western kind of thing going on. So I don't know, this world surprised me. I was not expecting to like it quite as much as I did. I knew I would still like it because there's one thing that the Sims team does really well with The Sims 4 is they create really beautiful worlds. The game is obviously not perfect, which I know a lot of us complain about too much sometimes about the game, but the worlds that they give us are just absolutely beautiful, and this is like no exception. But anyway, getting back to what I'm doing. So you would have seen me just do the entire exterior while I was just blabbering on there, but I'm just putting down some different landscaping, and I tried to pull a lot from the debug menu of the, new pack, and I love all the like kind of like warm colored plants and stuff that we got. I love those low-lying flowers which come with base game, but we got kind of like a different coloring, although I don't know, we might have this different coloring with another pack, I'm not too sure, but I liked the kind of like warmer coloring of those flowers to just kind of go with the rest of the world. And we got lots of new beautiful rocks and stuff like that, so I definitely had a really fun yet stressful time landscaping this exterior, because landscaping for me is sort of stressful and it's sort of fun. I don't know, I just get really like overwhelmed and I just start like running around like a chicken with my head cut off, just putting plants everywhere, just willy-nilly, just filling up spaces. And I try to have a game plan going into doing landscaping, but the game plan just never fully pans out. And then I just end up like breathlessly going through the catalog trying to find things that just strike my fancy. And then you see right now I'm like on this tangent now where I'm just adding like more rocks to the rocks to make them blend more and make them look more natural, which I personally think was a good call, because the rocks were looking a little bit too like uniform, because I just took the same rock from debug. I believe those are base game debug rocks, the big ones that you saw me put down earlier. And I just need to add some more dimension. So here I am just putting in also more base game debug rocks and stuff like that. Which, speaking of the packs that I use, I didn't limit myself on the packs that I used with this build. I don't know. I just didn't really feel like doing it. I feel like there's so many like base game builds right now, like all over YouTube and in the gallery and everything like that. So for those of us that, own a lot of packs, I thought, I provide something that, both you and I and everybody who just spends way too much money on this game would like to have. So yeah, I use everything at my disposal. And then I also use some, on the inside of this house, I use some really cool artwork from the gallery as well. It's kind of like the, you know, I hate to say this word, but the farmhousey kind of looking artwork. There's like a connotation with the word modern farmhouse here in the US. I don't know if it's like this in other parts of the world. But modern farmhouse here started as something like really positive. We had Joanna Gaines, you know, she's a very well-known designer on HGTV with the show Fixer Upper. She kind of like pioneered this like design style called modern farmhouse, or at least that's how we know it here in the US. But modern farmhouse got out of control. here in the US at least, it got out of control. And then it just became kind of a joke. And, you know, people have like the live, laugh, love signs and the gather signs and, you know, the Hobby Lobby home goods kind of thing. And I don't know, like modern farmhouse, as far as what I can tell here in the US where I live, it's kind of like falling out of style. We are now more so like, I see more like mid-century inspired stuff going on in designs of like new houses and stuff. So I saw that term thrown around a lot too when the pack was starting to come out for like all the different items and stuff. And, you know, if you're a fan of modern farmhouse, I don't want to like offend you because I still think the design of it is beautiful. But there's like a hokiness that we've kind of gotten to in this country with modern farmhouse. So yeah, when I saw it being mentioned that this pack had that theme going on, I was like, oh boy, this is not going to be up my alley. But I stand very corrected. The items are beautiful. The designs are beautiful. The builds that come with this world. I'm a really big fan of Simproved. I follow her on Instagram. I love her builds. And her builds are so beautiful in this pack, and just so many of them. I think this expansion pack has some of the best, like, you know, Sims creator builds, like, ever. So I was very impressed, and that's why I wanted to do this build on a 64x64 lot that, you know, didn't have anything on it, because honestly, I don't even think you need to demolish any of the houses that came with this expansion pack. Like, they are beautiful. Like, they did such an amazing job with the builds on this expansion pack. But with that being said, I actually am going to end up demolishing, I think, the country bar that came with this, because I really want to do my own country bar. And I'm actually thinking I might do like a CC version of it, just because, you know, I have an itch to use some custom content, because, you know, I'm now a custom content fiend. And there is a mechanical bowl by Sepsid, which you can get. And I don't know why they didn't put a mechanical bowl with this pack. Like, somebody really dropped the ball by not giving us the mechanical bowl back, because I remember that. I think it was in Sims 1 and Sims 2, maybe even Sims 3. I don't know. I didn't play Sims 3, but let me know if I'm wrong. But I remember it in either Sims 1 or 2. And why we didn't get it back with this game, I'm not sure. Just a huge missed opportunity. But I'm going to make my own country bar with that. And I'm also thinking about using the organic collection from House of Harlix. And then I also saw Pierre Sim released a new set that has, or he's about to release a new set that has like that really cool like Western, like Native American vibe going on. So I'm thinking about doing a build with those custom content creators, and it's kind of going to be for my own personal gameplay too, but, you know, for those of us that also like to use custom content, I think it'll be good for us to have, you know, because why don't we have a mechanical bowl? I can't stop complaining about it. I'm sorry. I'm just so upset. But anyway, so now I am doing this whole like nectar making area that I put over on the side of the house. So you can see off to the side, I have that little, I can't even think of what I wanted to call it. I think I called it a nursery earlier, but it's not. It's like a gardening shed, which I did with the new, what is that thing called? The greenhouse. That's what it is. Good God, it's called a greenhouse. not a gardening shed, it's a greenhouse. Good grief, Aaron. So I have that off to the side, and then I also put down that new little truck that we got with the pack from the debug menu and the little trailer, and I attached it to the truck to make it look nice and realistic, like, you know, they're selling their wine or supplies, or I don't know. I have a family in this house right now. It's a family of 5, right? Yeah, 5. It's, you know, 2 adult Sims that have 3 kids, and they have 1 teenager, 1 child, and 1 young adult kid. And then the father in this house, I made him, like, my idea in my head is like he's like a former championship rider, and his kid, who is the young adult, she wants to be a championship rider too, just like her father. So that's like my really weak storyline that I've created for The Sims that I put in this house. And yeah, like I've said in previous videos, I'm not the best when it comes to storylines. I like listen to Jessica Pye. I watch her videos all the time, and I'm always fascinated because she like comes up with these like really elaborate, detailed storylines for all of her Sims, and then I'm just over here like, yeah, I don't know. I got a parent, I got a kid. That's all I got. I'm not the best at creating like their whole backstory. I don't know. I'm trying to get better with like my stories and stuff. I'm finding a little bit more inspiration for my gameplay now that I have mods. I can't imagine playing this game anymore now without mods. I was doing fine before I got them, like when I was on my PlayStation. You know, I very much enjoyed playing the game. But now that I have mods, I can't live without them. I just can't. I can't go back, you know? I think once you get the mods, you can't go back. And they are a pain in the butt, though. Especially when, like, a new, you know, patch gets updated. It's like a whole process to get all your mods updated. And then once you think you have all your mods updated, no, you don't. There's still one. You get your little last exceptions popping up, and, you know, I'm new to The Sims 4. You know, I just started playing this game about, you know, 5-6 months ago, and, you know, I started on my PlayStation where I didn't have access to mods, so yeah, this is all new to me, the whole system in The Sims 4. I did play with them a lot when I, you know, played The Sims 2, but I don't think I played with gameplay mods on The Sims 2. I don't even know if we had them on The Sims 2, to be honest. I remember downloading a lot of custom content, but I don't remember downloading a lot of like gameplay mods. The mods are just like crazy what we have now in the game. Like, I mean, you can just do everything with mods. Like any kind of scenario you want to create, any bug you want to fix, just anything, there's a mod for that. It reminds me, if you ever watch the show Portlandia and they say we can pickle that, it's kind of like that, but it's like we can mod that. So I really love the mods. I'm still downloading them too. I'm still getting them. Now I'm on like a tangent where I'm getting like a bunch of different like food mods. I got the realistic cooking mod from Somik and Severinka, I think is how you say that. I got it, of course, from CurseForge, and it's so cool. And then I also got like the Granny's cookbook, and it's too much. I'm downloading so much custom content. It's crazy. I don't know how much I have right now. I think I said in my first custom content video that I almost had a terabyte, but that was highly inaccurate. I don't even know where I was getting that intel from, but I don't have close to a terabyte. I think I might have like maybe like 80 gigs of custom content. I don't know though. I haven't checked it. I'm honestly a little scared to check it because I don't want to stop. I keep doing it. Just today before I did this voiceover, I downloaded like so much clothing and hair for male Sims because there's just not enough stuff for male Sims in the game as it is, just through Maxis. And then also custom content, there's not a lot of like really good, well, I guess there is a lot of custom content for male Sims, but a lot of it is like the alpha content, which that's another struggle I'm having, is trying to find like really good like Maxis Match custom content, which there definitely is, but you know, it just takes a minute to find it. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling on about my my custom content addiction here and talk about what I'm doing. So I'm doing the house now. I'm on the inside finally. I did so many areas outside. I did that little nectar making area. I did the whole barn farm area. I did their little like side yard where, you know, they have an area where they can grill and they can paint and they can have a little fire pit. I mean, they can do everything in this house. I mean, this house is like fully loaded, especially for this pack and all the content that comes with it. But now I'm doing this little front entrance area, and I really love the way the inside of this house came out. I'm like in love with the inside of this house. It feels really realistic to me, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn too much, but I don't know. I feel like I captured a certain essence in this house of kind of like a modern barn conversion. Not that I've seen a ton of them. I think I've really only seen them on like HGTV and stuff like that. You know, like everything. I get a lot of influence from HGTV. I don't even watch HGTV that much anymore, but when I was younger, I watched it like crazy. I think that's probably part of like where my obsession with like interior design and stuff comes about, is just from all the like HGTV that I used to watch as a kid. That was like always on in my house. HGTV and like Food Network, that was always on at home. And yeah, growing up, we were very much into cooking and very much into decorating, so not a huge surprise there. But now I'm doing the other part of the little front entry area, and I was really struggling with what I was going to do off the entry. I was first going to do like a little laundry room, but then my mother, who was watching me build this, was like, no, that's not what you should do. So I took her advice and I did like a little office area, and then I also did kind of an extension of the mudroom, and I like, you know, put up a little area with coats, and you know, I think I did, oh yeah, I'm putting it up right now. I did that like little rack there with like, you know, the little cowboy hats and ropes and all that little fun Western stuff. And I realized later on that there was actually an item that I should have used there from the new pack that would have been way better, but I don't know. I still like the way that it came out. So now we are on to the kitchen, and I have to do this in pretty much every video, but I have to just like announce to you like what my favorite room was. And I think this is my favorite room in this house, is the kitchen. I just love the way that it came out. I was actually at first really struggling to find a way to use the new counters and cabinets that came with this pack. You know, they're very rustic. And obviously that is the look that I'm going for. I'm going for like a modern rustic look in this home. If those are the words that I want to use to describe it, those are the words. It'd be modern rustic. But man, these cabinets really get rustic. Like when they say rustic, they're not kidding. They really are. They're almost a little too battered. But I finally found a colorway that I liked. I actually originally wanted to go with a more like lighter wood color scheme in the inside of this house. But the cabinets, the swatches that they came in, the lighter colors, I don't know, I wasn't liking them. The only swatch that I really liked was this dark one. So then that made me change my entire approach to the inside of the house. So, but I love the way that the inside comes out. It's very warm, it's very cozy, and yeah, like I've said on repeat throughout this entire video, it feels like a barn house on the inside. Because, you know, when you go into a barn, which I don't think I've been in that many throughout my life, but, you know, you go into a barn and they always have like that kind of like loft space on the upper level. And, you know, the walls are obviously usually pretty high inside of a barn. And in this house, I tried to create that whole thing. You would have seen in the beginning, like intro sequence of this video that I did, a little sneak peek of the inside and just kind of how there's like a loft space and the windows are really high in that front seating area. And yeah, I was just kind of influenced by how, you know, the barns that I have been in my life kind of are. That was just like the most long-winded way of explaining what I was going for in the inside of this house, but I don't know, hopefully that makes some type of sense to you. But I'm just kind of going around cluttering up, you know, as I do, and I like to do a good amount of clutter. I don't like to go too crazy with clutter though, and I always try to make the spaces of these houses, especially because I know and I hope that people are, you know, downloading them to use it in their games, and I don't want there to be like tons of routing issues and stuff like that. So I always try to give plenty of room for like your Sims to move around and actually walk around and not have tons of problems. So I like to do that in all my houses, because as much as I would like to make these tiny little cozy kind of cramped cluttered spaces, I know those aren't like the best to play in. They're not the most fun to play in. So this whole house I did play test, and there were some issues. It was weird actually. When I was doing the exterior of this house, I was like 90% done with the exterior. And then I kind of mapped out the inside of it. And then I like had in live mode, I had the Sims that I have living here, you know, go into the house, and they like were not going in the house. And I was like, what the heck's happening? Like, why aren't they going inside the house? It was bizarre. Like, it mega glitched out and they like would not go inside. And I don't even know what the issue was, to be honest, because then I just exited and I went to another lot that I have Sims at that I play with, and their lot was working fine, and then I went back to this one and then it was fine. They could walk in. So I don't know. I don't even know if what I said made any sense, but that was like the only real issue that I ran into here. But otherwise, the house works absolutely perfect. There were like a few items, you know, upon further inspection when I was finished with this that I needed to like, you know, level down with like the tool mod. You know, I hate like floating items. They drive me nuts. And I think I got all the floating items fixed. Now, if you find any floating items, if you download this house, I'm sorry. I tried to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, but, you know, I manually raise up a lot of items, either with like the 9 key or with that little shelf that we got from, what was it, Dream Home Decorator? Or the other shelf that we got with Discover University. Those are really good. They're a lot like the red shelf that you can download, the custom content one, to, you know, raise items that won't slot onto a shelf. You know, you can put it on there with that. Again, I don't even know if what I'm saying is making sense, but what I'm just trying to say is that, you know, I double checked everything. So everything should work good when you get this home. But I'm putting up that really cute custom artwork that I got off of the gallery, and that just looks so good. And a little bar cart right by that dining room table. So, you know, when they're not wanting to drink the nectar that they just made, they can drink some nice hard liquor. I love having the, the base mental drugs mod in my game, because my Sims can actually like get drunk. Not that I'm like a big like drunkard or big drinker, but I don't know. It's just like a realistic factor that I love having in my game, that, you know, alcohol actually affects them in this game, and it's actually called alcohol, not like, you know, juice. I don't know. The game kind of irritates me sometimes, like The Sims. It's just so like kid friendly sometimes. It's kind of annoying. I know it's like rated T for teen, but I don't know. When I was a teenager, I completely knew what alcohol was. It wasn't really a huge deal. And I don't know. The game, when I played The Sims as a kid, I don't remember it being like super kid friendly. Like I actually remember it being a little spicy here and there. You know, I remember there were like cage dancers and like strippers coming out of cakes and stuff like that. And now I feel like The Sims 4 is just so like tame, and it can get a little boring though sometimes. So that's why I like to have these mods, honestly, is to add a little bit of spice and a little bit of drama to the game, because honestly, it's a little too like PG sometimes for me as an adult. You know, it's just, I like the realism and I like the drama, honestly. I always like to have some drama going on in my Sims lives. But anyway, getting on to talking about what I'm doing here in the living room. So you see, I finished out the kind of like hallway area, you know, the kitchen, the dining room, and now I'm working on this little living space. And it's got this beautiful like brick fireplace, and I raised it up on like its own little tiny platform just to make it feel like even more substantial and even more just cozy. And that's probably a word that I'm going to use like way too much in this video. I feel like I'm going to use the word cozy probably way too much, but I don't know. I actually stayed at a cabin in Bryce Canyon, which is in the southern part of Utah, which is what this area, Chestnut Ridge, reminds me a lot of. It reminds me a lot of Bryce Canyon in Utah. And I stayed at a cabin, or it actually wasn't even a cabin, it was like a gigantic house. And it had these really big, like, picture windows that overlooked, like, part of the canyon. And the inside, I remember just the term that I thought and used quite a bit when I was staying there was cozy, you know? I just kind of, like, curled up and I was like, oh, this place is just, like, super duper cozy, which, you know, I think that is the key word that you use to describe a cabin or, you know, something like that. It's cozy. So that's the term I was going for here. So hopefully when you download and use this house, you'll think the same thing. But, you know, I'm just going through and cluttering up the space, and I do like the clutter items that we got with this pack, although, like, I always want more clutter and I always want more wallpapers, you know. Those are my two things I'm always gonna critique, is there's not enough clutter and there's not enough wallpapers. And yeah, I really do want another clutter kit. I know we just got one, but I want another one. I want more. I can never have enough clutter. But yeah, anywho, I'm doing this upstairs space now. This is like the little kind of like recreation loft. And I was thinking too, like, if you want to have more than 3 bedrooms in this house, you can definitely take this part of the house and turn it into a bedroom. I don't think, I personally wouldn't like wall it off though, because I just love this like upstairs loft, and that view that you have from the upstairs of this loft looking down at the rest of the house, I think it's so cool. I want to create more kind of houses like this now that I've done it, where they have that kind of like upstairs loft space. Yeah, I mean, you don't really see that in like a ton of houses in real life, but I don't know. I mean, what's fun about building in The Sims is building stuff that you usually don't see in real life, but it's also fun too to build stuff that looks realistic. I don't know. I kind of like waver between the two in my design style. I like to create things that look realistic, but then I also like to create stuff that's, you know, not something you would really see in real life. You know, I don't know. If you actually did convert a barn, would it ever look like this? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be one to find out. I don't have any grand plans to renovate a barn anytime soon, so yeah. But this area is really fun up here. I did those new bookcases that we got from the Book Nook kit, and I just kind of lined them right under those windows, those cute little square windows that we got with the new pack. And then, yeah, just made like a nice little seating area. I used that new piano that we got too. And then right off of this loft is the master bedroom, and that has a nice ensuite. And it also has like a little mini like living room in the master bedroom too, which is really nice. I don't know if anybody's ever going to use that little, you know, living room there, but I put like lots of like knitting stuff and all that. You'll see it when I go to do it, but I picture the mom that lives in this house to be like really into gardening and knitting and cooking, and I don't know, she's just like a real homemaker. So I want to make, you know, a space in her room where she could just like get away from her kids and get away from everything and just sit in there and knit or read or whatever the heck she's gonna do. And then right now you see I'm doing this little space where they can play games. So I put the games table, I think that's from Get Together. So I always like to now put this like in family houses, an area where they can play card games, because personally for my gameplay, I love having my Sims play cards together. I think it's so cute. Although, of course, the Sims like never behave, and they're like getting up and leaving like halfway through the game, and I'm like, ugh, for the love of Pete, like the Sims never behave, you know? They just, no matter how much you try to control the Sims, they just never listen. And I always play the game with full autonomy on, just because, I don't know, it's more interesting that way, you know, when they're like kind of doing stuff on their own. And also I don't have to like micromanage them quite as much, but sometimes their autonomy does get a little bit annoying. I think the most annoying thing that Sims do is like, they're always on the computer. That's one thing. And then if you have that ice cream machine from Cool Kitchen, I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but when I had it, the frickin' Sims make ice cream like nonstop, and they never eat it too. They make it and they never eat it. It's bizarre. The Sims drive me nuts. But you know, anyway, now I'm doing, this will be the first bedroom that I'm doing here out of the 3. And this is a room that I did for both the teenage son that they have and then the child age son that they had. And while I was doing it, I was like, maybe this is kind of weird to have like a teenage kid and like a child sharing a room together. You know, for such like a big, like kind of expensive house, you would expect like each kid to have their own room, but I don't know. This is just how I mapped out the space. That's why I was thinking like, if you want to take that upstairs loft area I did and turn it into a separate room for maybe another kid or another Sim, whatever the heck you do with this, that's an option. But I think it's fine. Like for my own gameplay, I think it's fine. And I just tried to make this side of the room that I'm decorating right now look a little bit more teenage-esque. So, you know, he's got the baseball cap and the, you know, the headphones and the basketball, because, you know, that just screams teenager, I guess. And then on the other side of the room, you know, I just put little cute backpack and the little, what is that, like little bracelet thing that we got from, what was the pack, Growing Together? I swear, I'm the worst when it comes to like remembering and naming the packs, like when I'm doing these voiceovers. Like in general, I can rattle them off no problem, but when I'm doing voiceovers, I get so like, I don't know, I get very like in my head and I'm like, wait, what was that called? And then I'll remember as I'm like going back and editing this and I'm like, oh God, Aaron, you sound like such a dummy. But yeah, we're pretty much done with this room. And the next one we're going to go on to is going to be the room that I did for the young adult daughter. And she's the one who wants to become a like a riding champion like her father. So I don't know, I didn't like make the room too themey though, like around her wanting to be a championship rider. I just wanted it to kind of feel like slightly more adult, like a little bit more sophisticated, you know, just for like a nice young lady or whoever you want to put in this house. That's why I don't like to make things like too themed for, you know, what I'm going to put up on the gallery for people to download. I like you guys to, you know, put your own flavor into it with your Sims. I don't know. You know, just make it your own and just kind of give you like a layout, but maybe you'll want to delete some stuff and put, you know, your own touches. I know I do that all the time when I have downloaded stuff from the gallery, which I still download stuff from the gallery, even though I'm now kind of like a quote unquote builder. Although I haven't done like that many builds in The Sims, I'm still kind of new at it, but I still really enjoy downloading stuff from the gallery and like renovating it, especially community lots. Community lots are something that I'm still not like super duper comfortable doing. I'm still the most comfortable definitely doing, you know, residential lots. So I'm pretty sure, I think the next build I'm going to do is going to be that country bar, but I'm actually starting to think I really want to do like a dude ranch. I don't know, for being like very lukewarm on this pack, I'm now like have all these ideas for different builds that I want to do, but I want to do a dude ranch. And if you don't know what a dude ranch is, it's basically, it's a ranch. And you go there and they have like, you know, horses that you can ride, and they have, you know, different like country kind of activities, I guess you could say. And I want to do that because, you know, for the families that I have that are like, you know, at max capacity at like, you know, 8 Sims, you know, I can't get them horses. And yes, I know you can just up your household level in MC Command Center and have more than 8 Sims, but I don't like the way the game is after that. I don't know, it's like buggy and Sims end up getting deleted by accident. I just don't like playing with more than 8. I don't know if there's a good mod out there that you might know of that helps for playing with, you know, for house sizes larger than 8, let me know. But yeah, I just don't like doing it. But anyway, to solve that problem, I'm thinking about making a dude ranch. So that way I can have somebody living at this house or ranch or whatever, and then give them 7 horses. And then I can have my Sims go over to their house and ride their horses. You know, that's my idea there. So I think that's going to be my next build. And then after that, I'm probably going to do my, my country bar. But I also thought that would be good too for people that are playing on console, you know, because if you're playing on console, you have absolutely no access to MC Command Center and you can't even make your family size any bigger. So that'll probably be my next one. But we are now at the end of this build, so the picture should be rolling. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do want to download it, you can find it on my gallery. My gallery ID is just intelligentfly, all one word. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. It really helps me with the algorithm. And then if you can also click that bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. But I hope you guys are just having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye now.